Yeah, different names. Yeah, we call this laksa, but it's also not called laksa. It is just a convention that we all agree upon. But even when we agree upon, the name and the thing is still not connected. It's still not connected. It's because we agreed, then it's connected. Yeah. But even when it's connected, it's still not connected. Yeah. It is just in our mind that it's connected. So even the name is dependent arising, just as the function, the taste. Yeah. Even the laksa itself, it depends on water. What else? The thick bihun. Yeah. But the thick bihun is not inherently laksa. That's why you can use it to cook Hokkien mee. Yeah. And also the what is that? The neuro something or ito mi fen. Yeah. The fish head or something. Of course, the vegetarian one, huh? Yeah. Likewise, the egg. Likewise, the prawn. Is there anything that's inherently laksa? Let me see whether anybody can think of something. Nobody? Yeah. How about coconut milk? No. That's why you can use it to make chendol. Otherwise, you drink chendol, you, wow, laksa. Huh? Yes. Yes. Yeah, so in this case, the name of the rose is dependent arising. The name of the rose is dependent arising. So no matter, so the rose itself don't have names. It's given. It's given. The same goes for this place. This place is not Buddhist fellowship, not inherently Buddhist fellowship. But given the right conditions, then it's called Buddhist fellowship. So that saying, a rose by any name is still smells as good. That doesn't quite touch on the dependent arising nature of the smell. Because if you're having flu, it doesn't smell nice, isn't it? Yeah. Yes, without us. Yes. Yeah. So even the smell itself is dependent arising. Okay. Can vary. Can vary. Yes. If the sense base is damaged or it's not so sensitive, you may not even smell it. It's the same thing that's well. In a way, it's a yeah, correct. It's the same. Yes, but we would smell it differently. You have a question?
Regarding the sense consciousness, the first five sense consciousness is being registered at the sense base, or is it registered at the mind?
In the mind, as sense consciousness. Sense consciousness. Cannot. So let's just go through the list. Only three things. Yeah, cannot be the sense object. Cannot be the I. Yeah, it's inside the mind. Yeah, the part of the mind that is aware, we call that consciousness.
But if you have some expunction, you do operation on somebody, but because they put a needle somewhere, and when you cut the person, you don't feel pain.
Yeah, lor.
So it appears that the sense consciousness is not at the brain, but at the sense base.
In this case, the sense base is being interrupted. Yeah. The sense consciousness still depend on sense base and sense object to arise. You interrupt the sense base, so no sense consciousness.
So it's still at the brain. The sense consciousness is at the brain.
Your question is whether it's in the brain or part of the body, huh? This is still debatable. Still debatable.
So what is consciousness? Is it a vibration or energy or what is it? Matter as being matter, liquid and gaseous, right? So what is
Consciousness is a mental process. Consciousness. Mental process. In Buddhism, we consider it as a mental faculty. Yeah, part of the mental faculty. Definitely not part of the physical thing, but dependent on physical to arise, in this case. Okay? Yes? Mm. 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 So, yes, we still say it's not inherent. Given certain conditions, the person behave in this way. Yeah. If a person is inherently like that, then there's no changing. Yeah. Let me perhaps help you and help me along to further this questioning. To further your questioning, for most of us, this feels hard. Yeah, for most of us. I think for probably all of us, when you press down, it feels hard. But now, if you were to have a very sharp metal and you press down, yeah, you may find that it's not so hard anymore. It can pierce through like hot knife through butter. But because for most of us, our hands and our bone structure and so on, with respect to our hands and bone structure, this is always hard. So it appears to be inherently hard. But in fact, it's still not inherently hard. With respect to human beings, this is water. Water is fluid. Yeah, isn't it? Yeah, I don't have to dip my hand, but I like to dip my hand inside. Yeah, but is it inherently liquid? In recent 1-2 years, there's a lot of plane crashes. A few years before that, I was reading up some articles about plane crashes. So they say that plane crashes that goes over bodies of water, in many cases, is very hard to find. And the reason is this. When the plane drops from 30,000 feet, cruise altitude, down, and usually it's that they lose control. And so when they impact the water surface, what happened is that when the plane impact the water surface, the kinetic energy is so great, the water cannot disperse that kinetic energy. So the impact, when it impacts, the water acts like concrete. Acts like concrete. It is like smashing into concrete. And that's why it smashes into thousands of pieces. Yeah. Recently the MH, what is the number? 370 and a few, Yeah. Have they found anything? Still nothing, Yeah. There are other plane crashes where they found, but all they found is debris. Yeah. So this is their conclusion. And interestingly, for those who have learned swimming the wrong way, and you try to go and dive, it doesn't feel like you're cutting through water, you know. The impact is so strong. It's like smashing into a wall or something solid. Yeah. At the same time, when the plane crash, fishes inside are swimming, and the water is behaving like water. Yeah, understand? When the plane crashes, the fishes are still inside. At that point in time, the fishes are still happily swimming. 小明小花 swim here, swim there, you know. No problem. So at the same time, the water to the fishes is liquid. Hey, hello, wait. You asked the question, I'm explaining, you must listen. Yeah. So at the same time, sorry, I'm like that. So I have to do this because otherwise I explain to me, then you, huh? So when a plane crashes, fishes are swimming. To the fishes, the sea is still water. But to the plane impacting on it, it is solid. It is solid. Yeah? So we say that even water itself is not inherently fluid, not inherently solid. Depends on the condition. But for human being, when we interact with water, usually we don't impact at such a high velocity. So it always behaves like water to us. Are there conditions that where let's say a person with depression, when you interact with them, they wouldn't exhibit behavior of depression? Yeah, perhaps. Yeah. In fact, for some people, when they have depression, you cannot tell, Yeah, so for most intents and purposes, you don't perceive depression. Yeah. But the person is experiencing depression. Do we what? Well, two things here. There's a reason why I chose to become a monk and not a psychologist. Because the Buddha attained enlightenment, and I have confidence in that. I don't, as a result, simply refute everything else in other fields. Yeah, there are many interesting findings in psychology, in psychiatry, and in neuroscience as well that we should not be blind to as well. Yeah, but we should also sometimes look at what they observe and the conclusion with caution, yeah, because there's a time in psychology history where there's this whole rage about Sigmund Freud, yeah, and the whole idea that everything you are is because of your childhood experience. So there's this ongoing joke about if a person have bad attitude, deprived childhood, Yeah. I think if we look at what psychologists have arrived at, but still look at it and say, perhaps we can look at it and say that this is dependent arising. It actually makes more sense. Because if it's not dependent arising, then psychologists is basically saying there's no cure. But in fact, if it's no cure, then we are stuck with it, But we say that there are conditions that result in a certain personality trait and so on and so forth. Sometimes some may be physiological, some may be mental, some may be environmental or social. Yeah. In fact, in child pedagogy, it's very tempting to simply just classify active children as having ADHD. But increasingly, a lot of these child psychologists are coming to terms with that. You cannot simply ask a few questions and then say that the child has ADHD. Yeah? Then they start to look at the environment at home. If once you look at environment at home, then we are admitting that it is not inherent in the child, isn't it? Yeah. In terms of personality, we can also see it within ourselves and others. As a person who is very active, the moment someone come in, group dynamics change. The person become very quiet. Yeah. But I don't want to hammer it down as the final say. I want you to take what we have learned today and go back and do an exercise. Okay? Because it's through our own exercise, reflection and observation that we become convinced or not that indeed all things, as Guan and all the enlightened ones have observed, that all things are in fact dependent, arising and empty. And I strongly encourage you to try to find what do they call it? The antithesis. Yeah. Find one thing that is not dependent, arising, not empty, of inherent nature. If you can find it, please quickly call Bita. She will SMS me. Then next week we'll convene and we'll discuss. And if we can be quite sure, then we can call for the 7th council. Yeah. In Buddhism, this is a moment of great joy. Yeah, not fear. Nothing to be fearful of, because you have managed to dispute Buddha's claim. Yeah, but you better make sure it's correct. It'll be kind of embarrassing if you convene the seven council and ask all the Mahathera, Zhu San Zhanglao all come, and then you present it within 15 minutes disputed. Oops. Okay, so your exercise today, there are two parts. One, write down 3 things. Okay, 3 things that you would like to improve on that perhaps cause you to be upset. Write down 3 things that maybe make you upset. No more other answer. It must be actual things that cause you to be upset. Okay, this is the first part of the exercise. Second part, find a physical thing that you usually use and do this same reflection on whether it is dependent arising or not, and whether it's empty or not. So write down your exercises and email to wakeupnow. Yes, it's inside your handout also on page 2. wakeupnow@gmail.com. Okay? Yeah? So do this exercise. Let me repeat the first one. Write down 3 things that you like to change that affects you, gets you upset. The reason for this is no matter how chim or how profound or how simple the teachings we receive, if it cannot be used to improve our life directly, then it's moot point. It's useless. Yeah. Instead of trying to learn some exquisite dharma and boom, become an arahant instantly, we have to. My approach, be down to earth and start where you are. Yeah, where we sometimes have failings, where we sometimes have shortcomings, where we sometimes just cannot take it. Yeah, start here. Yeah, so identify 3 things, then choose the easiest one. Go for the low-lying fruit. Okay, choose the easiest one. Why choose the easiest one? It must be doable to begin with. Yeah, imagine if you teach primary school kids, class, today I'm going to teach you calculus. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, so we teach them arithmetics, addition, subtraction, and so on. Then after that, proceed to more complex things. Yeah, so start off with the simplest one. And if over the next 8 lessons, the coming 8 lessons, always come back to the problem that you have, and try to see how you can apply what we have learned today, and subsequent lessons on it. Yeah. The second part of the exercise, I repeat again, find a physical object and do the reflection on dependent arising and emptiness. Yeah. So this being empty of inherent nature, this is emptiness. Okay? Okay. The end. Put our palms together.